Coming up on today's show, we have brand new Seahawks rumors to get to on a potential trade for A.J. Dillon. We'll show you what one Seahawks insider had to say about the possibility coming up in just a matter of moments. Also, what are the realistic expectations for Seahawks rookie Byron Murphy in 2024? We will dissect those, show you what SI All Seahawks had to say coming up in just a moment. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us here on today's program. Before we go any further, a reminder all month long here on Seahawks Today, we are battling the Cowboys report to see who can get the most likes on their videos for this month. And you can see the Cowboys report has a slight lead with over 2,400 likes. We're at over 2,300. I want to cut into that deficit today. Tom Downey, he was talking smack, Cowboys Report host. He said there's no way Seahawks Today could get 1,000 likes on a video. And I said, Tom, we will prove you wrong today. We'll show you why we have the best fans in the NFC across the National Football League. Stick it to the Cowgirls, like today's video. The most likes we've gotten on a video this month is 698. Not bad. We need about 302 more. Like the video, do your part, stick it to Tom Downey. We'll get started with today's show. A trade for A.J. Dillon, a brand new Seattle Seahawks rumor that we must discuss here on today's program, courtesy of 12th Man Rising, suggesting the Seahawks trade for the Green Bay Packers running back. Does it make sense for Seattle to make a move for A.J. Dillon already with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet in the backfield? Here's more from 12th Man Rising. Unfortunately, over the last several years, 12s have watched many running backs get hurt for Seattle. Chris Carson was great for a while, but a neck injury ended his career. Rashad Penny flashed greatness, but seemed to never stay healthy for long. Walker hasn't missed a lot of time in his career, but he has not been able to go in 2 games in each of his first 2 seasons. In other words, depth is a very valuable thing, especially for running backs. Seattle's current RB3 is likely Kenny McIntosh, but McIntosh missed most of his rookie year in 2023 with a leg injury. He might be an excellent pass catcher and could spell Walker and Charbonnet at times, but there is no guarantee that he can stay available. Adding a veteran running back might be the right choice as RB3. Now, while it is true, it's no secret the Seahawks have had health issues at the running back position over the years. They've had some of the worst luck of any team in the NFL when it comes to keeping running backs healthy. Nobody is denying that. But even with that said, to make a trade for A.J. Dillon right now, that's a big-time reach. Maybe if there's an injury, then the Seahawks will scour the marketplace and make a trade or a free agent signing. But at least at this point in time, I think that's a little early, if you will, to consider. You look at the Seahawks running back room, and this room, folks, I think is very underrated. I think you got a lot of potential for greatness here with Kenneth Walker. I think he's going to have a Pro Bowl caliber year. Zach Charbonnet, very solid there as your RB2. And some other options. I think Kenny McIntosh is going to be good. I liked George Holani, the Seahawks undrafted free agent out of Boise State. You got some cats you can work with here. And let me make this very clear, folks. This is not a knock on A.J. Dillon at all. I think A.J. Dillon's a very talented running back. I remember him when he was at Boston College, when he was tearing up defenses in the Atlantic Coast Conference left and right. And he's been better at times than Aaron Jones there in Green Bay. He's had his moments. But until the Seahawks actually find themselves shorthanded, it just simply isn't necessary to give up assets to make this type of move right now. What do they say? Desperate times call for desperate measures. You're not at a desperate time right now. We can have this discussion later, but at least at the moment, to me, I just think it's unnecessary. More on A.J. Dillon, the 2020 second-round pick out of Boston College. He's been very consistent. 3 straight seasons with at least 600-plus rushing yards as the Packers' number 2 back. He's got 60 career games played with 11 starts in his career, and his numbers have been very solid. You can see last season, 613 yards, 2 touchdowns. The year prior, 770 yards and 7 touchdowns. 2021, 803 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. Then in 2020, had 242 yards, but did average 5.3 yards a carry with 2 touchdown scores. The trade idea, as suggested by Field Gulls, isn't that much. The idea that they're throwing out there is giving up a 6th or a 7th round pick. So it's not a matter of it costing Seattle a ton. It's just one that doesn't make sense where the Seahawks are at. I trust this Seahawks backfield. I think that what we're about to see, if the offensive line can do their parts, then the Seahawks are going to have one of the best running games in all of football potentially. It's that good. You don't need A.J. Dillon for now. Should the Seahawks trade for A.J. Dillon? It's our pinned comment today. You might be getting an ad break while that ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know what you think. Type T for trade, P for pass. Way in the comments section and let us know. Seahawks Today is bringing you nonstop Seahawks coverage you won't find anywhere else, as we're bringing you our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. We have our Madden sims for the entire Seahawks season. We're bringing you breaking news updates anytime that happens. And we're live twice a week. We are your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV for daily Seahawks content that you will not want to miss. Join the family now of 12s. If you're a real member of the 12s, you got to be subscribed to the channel. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Let's shift gears now and talk about Byron Murphy, the Seahawks' first-round pick out of the University of Texas. There's a lot of high hopes, a lot of expectations for him entering 2024. I hear Seahawks fans in the chat all the time telling me, we found the next Aaron Donald, or we found the next Chris Jones. And, you know, for me, that sounds nice, but let's simmer expectations a little bit. He's still a rookie, right? Hasn't played it down to football in the National Football League just yet. SIL Seahawks laid out the realistic expectations for Byron Murphy, and here's what they had to say. Seattle has never had a Rookie of the Year winner in its 48-year history, Defensive Rookie of the Year. West Coast bias or not, that'd be a welcome change, especially when bringing in another top defensive prospect like Murphy. So with all of this in mind, what are realistic expectations for Murphy in his rookie season? Would anything less than a Defensive Rookie of the Year award be a disappointment? So here is what SIL Seahawks laid out of what they expect from Byron Murphy in year one. Number one, he won't win Defensive Rookie of the Year, and that's okay. And I agree with that. Byron Murphy, I'd love to see him win the award, but that is going to be a tough task with the other defensive players he's going up against and just competing for playing time alone in the rotation. Another idea that was thrown out is look at the year Jalen Carter had with the Philadelphia Eagles this past season. He was outstanding as a rookie and took some huge steps in the right direction. Look for Murphy to play similar to what Carter did last year in Philly. As far as playing time goes, the hope should be that by mid-season, Murphy is on the field at least 55% of the Seahawks' defensive snaps. And I know that it's very competitive when you're talking about sharing snaps with Jaron Reed and Jonathan Hankins and Leonard Williams and company, but I think that's very doable. Stat-wise, I would take these stats if this is the case for Byron Murphy. SIL Seahawks projecting that Murphy ends up with 55 pressures, 1 forced fumble, 6 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, and 46 tackles. And then last but not least, by the end of the season, Murphy supplants defensive lineman Jaron Reed in the rotation, that he gets more minutes than Reed when it comes to on-field activity. My expectation for Byron Murphy is to create a difference in the run defense. We know that the Seahawks have a number of guys that can get after the quarterback. That's not the issue with the Seahawks team. When it comes to the defensive line, the number one priority of why Byron Murphy was drafted was for his ability to stop the run, that he is an all-encompassing defensive lineman. That's the thing I want to see, and I want to see it build upon for next year and for years to come, that the brickwork is set for Byron Murphy to become a great football player. He doesn't have to be great this year, but if he can put down the building blocks, if you will, for his future, then that'll be a huge step in the right direction. Will Byron Murphy win Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2024? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes, in for no. Get your questions in and get your answers in the comment section. Let us know. Byron Murphy, you got to think big picture. It's not just about 2024, right? It's about many years to come. The Seahawks see him as an investment in their long-term future. We heard Mike Macdonald say several months ago that they wanted to build a wall on the Seahawks defensive line and make opposing offenses pay for it. He is a foundational piece for this defensive line going forward for many years to come, and that needs to be the focus, is about long-term with Byron Murphy, not just about 2024. Mike Macdonald said this recently about Byron Murphy. We're not going to crowd him right now like he's the next best defensive tackle of all time, but we're really excited about it. He shows all the bend and the strength at the point of attack and acceleration. Need to get in a little better shape so we can get through a whole practice and fly around like we expect him to. But he understands that, just like the rest of the guys. It's so hard to stay in this elite shape the way the calendar is set up, so he'll get in there, but in the meantime, we'll be pushing him in the meantime. There you go from Mike Macdonald there. And if you recall, when he first showed up, Mike Macdonald said that he was out of shape and he needed to get better conditioning and more football shape. It isn't going to be overnight with Byron Murphy to turn into a star, but that's okay. He can still be a difference maker right away with that ability he brings to the run defense. And you look at what the Seahawks are getting out of Byron Murphy. I know we've talked about, man, you would love him to be Aaron Donald. You'd love him to be Chris Jones. But simmering expectations. If he's Ed Oliver, I'll be thrilled with that. If he's Justin Madubuike, I'll be thrilled with that, folks. The resume's there. First team All-Big 12, Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year last year, former first-round pick and everything. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together, and it's going to take time, but that's okay. You look at his statistics of what he did at the University of Texas in his career, and think about this when you talk about perspective. This is a guy that's just starting to come into his own. Last year was the first breakthrough season he had. He was solid his first two seasons, but last year was the first one where he wowed us, essentially, with 5 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss there in 2023. It was an A-plus pick by the Seahawks to go with Byron Murphy. They found arguably the best defensive player in this draft. They filled a position of need. Now it's about putting in the work in and seeing what he can do to develop and become that star player that we all hope that he'll be someday. How would you grade, now that we're a few months after the draft and everything, and what you know about Byron Murphy, how would you grade the pick of Byron Murphy at this point? A, B, C, D, or F? Get your comments in and let us know what you think of that pick of Byron Murphy. Weigh in and let us know. If you enjoyed today's show, do your part. Stick it to some Cowboy fans, including producer Joey, and like today's video. Do your part, and we will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.